Hello and welcome to another episode of Galaxy Gardens. My name is Chrissy and today we have two items on the docket. We're going to start some duck prosciutto and we're also going to be making some beef tallow, so let's get into it. You can see our beef fat here. So we like to buy bulk meat, and last couple times they had a lot of fat on them. So basically what I'm gonna do is take all of this, we're gonna chop it up, and then it's going into our crock pot. It is going to be set on low for about 6 to 8 hours. Beef tallow is one of those things where you can set it and forget it. Yeah, you gotta take some time to chop it up. Some people say it's easier to do when it's frozen. I think honestly it's easier to do when it's straight out of the fridge. It doesn't fight you so much. You just chop it up as finely as possible. And then because you're leaving it for so many hours, you don't really have to do anything with it except stir it maybe once an hour and then strain it at the end. So pretty easy. You've seen this on our channel before. I had some free time today, so I thought we could just get into it. Now, if you leave your pieces on the larger side, it's okay. It's just going to take a little bit longer for them to cook down. You want them to be on a low setting so they don't burn. But this is all we do. And you just like to cube them. Throw them in there. Something different I'm gonna do this year, because we have a lot of tallow. We'll have enough for cooking. We like to use it as a cooking oil, or cooking fat rather. And then because we had such a good year with harvesting medicinal flowers, I was thinking of making an infused oil with those. And then possibly making like a hand cream. So that could be cool. In past years when I've done this, I like to cut them much smaller because we have so much to get through. We're just gonna make little cubes and call it a day. So I'm gonna finish this up and we'll be back. We're about half done. This is already quite full, so we're gonna see how much we can actually squeeze in here. But this is good timing because this is what's left of our tallow from the last time I made it. And we're approaching about 6 months, maybe less. So it's about time we need a new batch of this. I would say this crock pot is about at its max capacity. Forget how big it is. It's either 4 or 6 quarts. But we have some beef fat left, so this is just gonna go in the freezer. All this is fresh from the last day. You saw some bits that weren't pink. Those are what I've been collecting in the freezer for a few months. So yeah, this go in the freezer. This is gonna get turned on. Setting this is easy. We're gonna go low, just set the time. I'm gonna set it to 8 hours. This is probably going to take a minimum of 1.5 to 2 hours before you see everything start to melt, but it takes time. So we'll come back to this and we can go ahead and get started on the duck prosciutto. Now, if you're curious, no, we did not go duck hunting. We don't have the license to do that yet. So we went to the local butcher. They had frozen duck breast with the skin still on, so that's what we're gonna be using today. We have our duck prepared. I just wanna weigh out what we're starting with. We'll do it in grams. Now you can get fancy and go ahead and weigh out your salt. We're just gonna use excess salt. So these breasts look gorgeous. 238 grams. Oh, let's get this other one. 472. All right, so that's our starting weight. This is the first time we're making this, but basically what we're gonna do is make a layer of salt. Because that duck is gonna soak up a lot and also release quite a bit of moisture. So we're gonna use a lot of salt. We're gonna do a mixture of kosher salt here and our pickling salt, which we actually have left over from when we made bacon the other year. So we're just gonna eyeball it. Okay. Nice, just stir. All right, so we're just gonna mix this up. And this is how I do it. If you're gonna follow this at home, I would recommend, you know, go online. Figure out appropriate amounts. All right, so we're gonna take this. We're gonna do fat side down. Perfect. And then we're gonna top it off. So I'm gonna go ahead and just mix up some more of the salts and we'll pour it over the top. This all set here. So you're aiming for about an inch layer on the top and the bottom. Now my hands are clean. I'm just gonna make sure all parts of the duck are covered. If we need to add a little more salt, that's fine. The most important part is you get all the nooks and crannies of the duck. Make sure everything's covered. We will rinse this off in a couple days. We need it to dehydrate as much as possible. So we're gonna need a little bit more salt. We're gonna cover this up. And then this is gonna go into the fridge for the next about 48 hours before we move on to the next step. All right, this is all set. Come back for this in about 48 to 72 hours. I wanna make a special note here. So anything that comes to fermented or cured foods, you have a lot of hands in the pot. There's a lot of people who are self-proclaimed experts on everything. I'm mostly thinking of any type of alcohol you might be making. The same is true for cured meats or even cheeses, okay? This is going to be the easy way when you're at home and you're not an expert, all right? Depending on how you do this, you could leave it in your mixture, whatever you end up making, for even up to a week. We're just gonna do a few days and then we'll move on to the next step. So we'll come back to that. It will be in this video, so don't worry. This is gonna be a part 1 of 2, and part 2 will be later on. But we're just gonna let it do its thing. And then when we come back and get things going, then that will be the primary like hanging drying time, which we're actually also gonna do in the fridge. It's gonna be pretty cool. Welcome back. We are about a little over 2.5 hours into this. So I stirred it once already. Just wanted to show you where we're at so you can see the volume has significantly reduced. So we're just gonna get in here, give it a good stir. And you'll see there's like little bits of meat on here. It's basically crackling at that point. You'll see down the road it's much more crispy, but we're just slowly getting the fat out and heat it up. So I'll continue to stir this once an hour. It's getting a little late, so I think down the line, got two options here, because this is a Sunday night I'm making this. Either I'll put it on high for the latter half, or I'll keep it on warm and just put it back on low tomorrow, so it'll still, you know, keep doing its thing overnight. I'll finish up. You don't have to do this in a crock pot. You could do it in like a pot on the stove, outside over propane flame, whatever works for you. All right, we got about an hour left. Look at that. Oh, I should have thought of where to put my lid before I started recording. 1 second. If you have an older crock pot, when you put it on the low setting, it will not be boiling like this. I have a new one. We've just had this for a few years now, and it's a common complaint I've heard is that the old ones actually are low temperature. So that's fine with us. You'll see most of this is done. I would say, and I've never actually filled up the crock pot the entire way. I usually fill it up to about here with the beef fat, and then it cooks down. We have this beautiful golden tallow in here. Usually would just kind of take it at this point and squeeze it out and filter it, strain it. But I still have some like decent sized chunks in here, so I'm just gonna cut the heat because I gotta go to work in the morning. We're gonna deal with this a little later. It is not gonna go rancid overnight. It's gonna be fine, but we'll pick this back up tomorrow. Hey, it's the next day. We're gonna filter this out. This is what it looks like when it's all set. I have this on warm. So you can see not all of the fat has rendered, but most of it has. And we'll even have little bits where the meat was. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna take this, and I do a 2-part filtering process. So just regular strainer as well as a coffee filter. That's about it. Let me get my jars together. So this is pretty easy to do. I usually like to start with none of the chunks if I can avoid it. So I just set up a coffee filter on a strainer on a funnel over a clean and sterile jar. And this will have a very light color to it. But if we do everything right, we should have a pure white tallow as our end product. Sometimes the strainer doesn't get out some of the smaller bits. That's why I like to use the coffee filter. That's all we're doing. So I'm gonna make my way through this, and I'll meet you on the other side. We have our filtering station up. I'm gonna try something new this year, because I always forget how long this takes. See, it's going pretty good. So I have a clean tea cloth. I know it doesn't look clean, it's just stained from use. This is fresh, just took it out. You don't have to believe me, whatever. Anyways, we're gonna dump everything in here, try to do a bulk squeeze out. Just remember, this is all very, very hot. Don't burn yourself if you do this. Just about bottom of the crock pot. So, my little filter's going. Try not to get tallow counter. This works. I'll be very pleased with myself because usually this takes a bit longer. But you know, this is what you do when you don't have a commercial facility and you're just doing stuff at home that only you are gonna use. So, I'll be right back. All right, that's to the end of the crock pot here. We're gonna dump it to the best of our ability. There you go. Whew. I definitely gonna end up with more than we did last year. I keep saying last year. We just did this like a few months ago. All right, so we have this in here. You're gonna remember this technique from when we made cheese. All right, be very careful. This is very hot. This is where spoons come in handy. All right, you're just gonna spin. Spin and press. Oh yeah. Think of those juice pressers people have. That would be very useful. So I'm gonna mess around with this. You can see a little bit how much we have in there already. I'm definitely gonna get 2 full jars. I'll make for 3. That's my goal. Well, I'm quite pleased with myself. It actually worked out really well. So we're gonna do one last coffee filter and we'll be all done with these tonight. It's not evident we are all done. Let's get close up. These need to cool off. We're gonna put lids very loosely on the top so they'll cool off overnight. You wanna filter out as much as possible because if you have any stuff in there that just isn't the rendered tallow, it can make it go rancid faster. But these all look good. We'll see how they look tomorrow. So close with that one, but that's all right. We're probably only gonna save one for cooking and then use the rest to make, I think, a hand cream. That'll be for another video. I have a bunch of stuff to clean up and I'm tired and my hair's not done. So we're gonna pick this back up tomorrow when we go get the duck breast out of the fridge. So we'll be back shortly. There you have it. So this is the only one that ended up with a little crud on the bottom, but these 2 are perfect. Perfect. They set up very well. So if I made the rest of the towel, I could probably get this filled up and then probably fill up that much more. But this is plenty for us for a while. That looks really good. So I always want to make sure it's filtered well so it doesn't go bad. But now it's time to look at the duck breast and get it hanging. Here it is. We have our duck breasts in our salt mixture. We are gonna rinse this off with some vinegar, pat them dry, and then I'll show you what seasoning rub we're gonna put over it before we hang it in the fridge. All right, we're cooking dinner, so I'm gonna try to do this fast. So we're gonna take this out. Check out our duck breast. Ooh, they've already firmed up so much. See that? So we're gonna rinse this off with some vinegar. And then some water. You can see it looks so different. All right. Oh, that was actually super easy. All right. I'll get some water. I would say those are good to get dried off. Let me get this all settled. We'll be right back. Our duck is ready to go. I got it all dried off. So we're gonna make a mixture of pepper, sumac, and this fancy salt my friend brought back. Now, we're not gonna put too much salt in it. I wanted to put fennel. I thought fennel would be good, but I couldn't find it. So, no, I'm just gonna eyeball it. Just put a dusting in the outside because I want to taste the duck more than the seasonings. Some good seasonings I can go with it, or thyme, rosemary, oregano, all that good stuff. Excited for the salt though. It has a really, really good truffle flavor. I'm just gonna mix this up. If I need to make more, that's good. Oh yeah, it'd be great. So you're gonna take this, you're just gonna liberally apply it to your duck. And it's already shrunk so much, so I don't know what it's gonna do as it hangs for the next couple weeks. And that will keep you posted. That's it. And I'm at home. I'm not using gloves, but if you're making this the intention of feeding other people, yeah, it's up to you. My hands are clean. I was thinking now that we have the dehydrator, well, we've had it for quite a while now, it's making jerky in it. So that could be good. All right, that about does it. It looks more covered than it does on the camera. That's fine. It's gonna be tasty. All right, let me show you the next step. For this next part, we're going to use this tea cloth. I do not have cheesecloth. That would be preferred. It's Thanksgiving week, so there's like nothing at the grocery store. But we're gonna try this out. So what we're gonna do is put our duck in here. We're gonna roll it up tight. I'm gonna use these to separate our sections. We're gonna figure out how to hang it in the fridge. Oh yeah, that's gonna be great. All right, there she is. So what I'm gonna do is, I'm gonna twist this back up, but this middle section, I'm going to affix to one of the shelves in the fridge. We're gonna hang it, and we're gonna put a plate under it in case any juices come out. I think that's gonna work pretty nice. All I'm gonna say before I show you this is I don't think you're ready for this. We've done it. We've done it. Even found some chip clips. These novelty cat chip clips, or ties. So I have a plate under here, catch any potential drippings. Got them tied up. You're actually using the little ties to keep them separated. And then I am just so proud of my duct tape job. That'll come off with a little alcohol later on. But yeah. And you can see in the back there is Danny DeVito, which is a sourdough starter I've been gifted. I already made a loaf, posted on Instagram, of chocolate chip bread. So these breasts are on the smaller side. They're 427 grams, if I remember correctly. So we'll check them in a week. If they need some more time, probably give it another week after that. Some recipes say give it a month, but I'm impatient. They're on the smaller side, so I'm hoping they cure a bit faster. and we're just gonna give it some time. So we'll come back to this in part 2. Thanks for joining me for part 1 of a 2-part series where we've made some beef tallow and got some duck prosciutto started. I would love in the future to have another fridge for meat or cheese. That'd be great. I'd love to make some more cured meats. That'll be sometime in the future. We have enough fridges right now. You really don't need the extra energy pull on our electric bill. Maybe I could rig it up to something solar, but that is going to be very far down the line. For now, we're going to keep trying recipes that we can just do in the fridge. That'd be fantastic. I'm really pleased with how the seasonings came out on the duck. I think it's really going to pair with the duck flavor very well, and I'm really excited to try it. Like I said, we're going to check on it in a week. Probably start actually eating it in about 2 weeks. So we'll see how it does. And I'm gonna look up some other recipes so we can start making like a hand cream with the tallow. We have almost 3 full jars of tallow, and we only really need 1 of those for cooking in the amount of time that it'll be good for. Usually we get about 6 months out of a jar before I start questioning, like, it's just starting to go bad. If you're ever worried about that though, you can just keep it in your fridge. I put it on the counter, it's fine. We filter it pretty well, so I hope as you're kind of buying your meat in bulk, you try this out. Tallow's great for cooking. It has a pretty mild flavor on its own, but it's good for you. It's a good alternative to seed oils or vegetable oils, or I guess peanuts count as seed oil too, but it's worth experimenting with. And if you haven't yet, please go to the link I'm going to put right here, shop.epicgardening.com/galaxygardens. It'll get you an additional 5% off using our discount code Galaxy Gardens at the shop online. So you can get up to 45% off in savings on any kind of garden supplies you need, fertilizer, actual like raised bed frames with birdies, live plants, seeds, seed trays. If you spend over $300, or actually $300 and up, you'll get a free, like garden starting kit with your order. And there's a free gift with every order, no matter how much you spend. So get up to 45% off. The deal is only going to December 2nd. So I don't know about you, but I do all of my holiday shopping over the Thanksgiving weekend, just because there's so much stuff on sale. Add your gardening supplies to that list that you're going to be buying this weekend. Prepare for 2025. This is the best time. All the seed catalogs are coming out right now. All the seeds are fresh and prepared for 2025. Go do it. Get yourself set up. I love in December doing my garden planning and getting fun seeds, anything you really need. So I highly recommend it. I'll put it in the description too if you need it, or if you want to follow us on any other social media channels. Until then, I hope you and your family have a fantastic holiday season. I hope you're full of abundance this time of year. I hope you're staying warm. If you live somewhere cool like I do, if it's summer in the winter for you, just more power to you. So happy for you. I'll see you next time, and I'm really looking forward to sharing how the duck comes out. I'll see you later. Bye.